Okay, here are the people.
Live on YouTube. Will this be on Facebook Live as well?
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
Oh,
We can't do both, at least the way we're currently configured.
Okay.
But we will post. We will post on Facebook.
oh.
We can't do both, at least the way we're currently configured.
Okay.
But we will post. We will post on Facebook.
So that you don't trip on it. Here's your second one. Make sure you don't trip. To make sure you don't fall.
Hey, David. Hey, Frank. Larry.
Hi, Frank, Marie.
Pat. How are you?
Megan's
Oh,
here. Good
Megan. Hi.
I couldn't miss Barbie. There was
Oh,
no
thank
way.
you.
Good to see you guys.
You too.
Good to see you.
Hi.
Okay, we're live on YouTube. And so watch your language. And we'll be starting up the service in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, all the people. This is right now, this is before the service. The service will start.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Kanawha Valley Sunday service via Zoom, YouTube, and a little bit later on Facebook Live. Today is Sunday, July 12th, and we will begin our service with the ringing of the bell and the lighting of the Christ candle. Well, I'm going to light the Christ candle. We may not ring a bell this morning. But we light this candle as a reminder of the Christ light that shines in each and every one of us. So take just a moment and say, so take a moment and say with me our opening statement. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And let the truth of that statement anchor into your heart. And then repeat it with me once more. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Our songs this morning will be led by Ron, accompanied by Ryan and Jeff.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again, virtually. And we're going to start off with Surely the Presence. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on his face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel her mighty power and her grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on its face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. And I'm going to do a song that, a hymn that's in our hymn book that I've never done before. And Jeff turned us on to this, and it's really a beautiful song. So just follow along with the lyrics called I Would Be True. I would be true, for there are those who trust me. I would be pure, for there are those who care. I would be strong, for there are those who suffer. I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be brave, for there is much to dare. I would be friend of all the bold of friendless. I would be giving and forget the gift. I would be gentle that I may bless others. I would look up and laugh and love and lift. I would look up and laugh and love and lift. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron, Jeff, and Ryan. I appreciate you leading the music this morning. As far as announcements, I just have a couple of things. Sojourners is in need of new pillows, pillowcases, and coffee. So if you'd like to support the Sojourners shelter, that's what they're needing this month. And UKV needs some 55-gallon trash bags. So if you have a way, or if you have some extra in your cupboard, or pick up a box while you're at Kroger's, drop those off at the church. We'd appreciate it. So that's all the announcements I have for this morning. And let's see, am I sending it to Barbie or to Jeannie? Let's go to Jeannie with the Daily Word.
Good morning. The daily word for today is guidance. I am divinely guided. Guidance can be easy to find in the outer world. Maps and GPS technology can help me navigate my way just about anywhere. Everywhere I go, there are signs marking streets, adorning storefronts, and providing just about every kind of information and opinion imaginable. Spiritual guidance often is not as evident, but it is much more valuable. This guidance comes to me as a persistent tug on my attention, as a gut feeling or intuition, or even in a dream as I sleep. I pay attention to the guidance I receive and step out in faith to move my steps in its direction. I know that the spirit of wisdom and love within me are always guiding me to blessings of greater peace, love, and prosperity. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Psalm 25:4.
Is this the meditation?
Yes,
Okay. And then do I go right into speaking or is there something else before that?
go right into speaking.
Okay, I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody. This is my first time doing this. So we're going to start with a meditation. And so if you could all just get settled into your seats, and if you feel comfortable doing so, close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath and draw your attention inside. Notice for a moment just the simple act of breathing. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the air as it moves in and out of your body. And now give yourself just a moment to begin to relax. Really settle into the place that you're sitting. Feel yourself completely supported. And then begin to soften. Soften your face, your neck, your shoulders, your arms. Just really feel your presence right here. Now draw your attention into the area of your heart space. And give yourself permission to let go of anything that you were thinking about earlier this morning. To let go of all the thoughts of things you have to do later today or later this week. And give yourself permission to be here now. To bring your attention 100% present into this moment. And with the next breath, really thank yourself for putting this time aside for you, for nurturing your spirit, for connecting with your Unity family, with this community. Thank yourself for that. And then have the intention to take away something today that will make your heart a little lighter, that will make you feel a little less isolated, that will elevate your spirit and bring joy to your life. Just breathe that in. And then when you're ready, begin opening your eyes. and come back to Zoom, to where you are, the room where you're sitting. And let's just talk for a bit. You know, it was
Barbie,
4 months. Yes.
we're a little bit out of sync. We have a song by Ron and Band
Oh, okay.
to
Okay.
fit in. Is that okay with you?
Oh, perfect.
All right, we'll go there.
I've always loved this song, and I just read that it was written by a man named Robert Lowry about 4 years after the Civil War, and it's endured all this time for very good reasons, and it's still relevant today. This is called "How Can I Keep From Singing?" On in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real though far off hymns that hails a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while in that rock I'm clinging, since love is Lord of heaven and earth. How can I keep from singing? Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear that music ringing. It sounds and echoes in my soul. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love is Lord of heaven and earth. How can I keep from singing? The peace of Christ makes fresh my heart, a fountain ever springing. All things are mine since I am His. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging, since love is Lord of heaven and earth. How can I keep from seeing.
Okay, good morning. You know, it has been 4 months ago today that our president declared a national emergency, and we went down this rabbit hole of COVID-19 and coronavirus and strange new reality, strange new normal. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, I just keep going back to my experience of what's been happening, like my journey through all of this. This has been tough. I don't know about you, but I've struggled at times, and I've been disappointed in myself, kind of judged myself for not being very good at this whole virus thing or this whole quarantine thing. Sometimes I get caught up in Facebook and start feeling fearful and isolation and depressed. And sometimes I get on Facebook and get really angry and start lashing out or wanting to lash out. And so I have found myself going round in circles and trying to figure out what's going on with myself. I think one of the things that I've heard most often when I talk to my coaching clients, when I talk with my friends, is the word, everybody has gone crazy. Is that maybe your experience sometimes too, that it feels like the whole world has gone mad? Certainly, we get the idea that people aren't doing this very well. A lot of judgment out there. And I went back to one of the things that I learned from Brene Brown, and that was the idea of asking yourself the question, are people doing the best they can? Are we doing the best we can? Am I doing the best I can? And at first, I felt like maybe I wasn't. But then I backed up a little bit and I started looking at the circumstances. And I became aware that people aren't just afraid. People are experiencing grief. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that, what it means to be caught up in grief, what it means to be going through the process of grief. Now you might say, well, no, I'm not feeling grief because no one I know has died. I haven't really lost anybody close, or other people are worse off than I am. But any kind of loss will send us into grief. And we are experiencing, if nothing else, we are experiencing the collective loss of the world as we knew it. For me personally, I have lost all my plans for this year. I was going to do a retreat in New York, a 3-day retreat on Lake George, a women's retreat for 3 days, going to facilitate that. I was so looking forward to that, and that's been canceled. I was going to a retreat to participate in retreat. I was going to go to Courage Camp with Brene Brown in October. I mean, I had all these really great plans, not to mention the fact that I was going to go to Montana and be with my grandchild. So much that I had planned is gone. And from day to day, the highlight of the week is, I don't know, masking up and going out and go grocery shopping. Life is different. And so I wanted to give you my idea of how it's helping me to understand, to give myself compassion and to give others compassion as well when I start to see people's behavior through the lens of grief. There's 5 stages of grief, and they're not linear. You don't go through them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're done. We tend to bounce around from one stage to another, depending on like where you are in the morning. I mean, you could start out with acceptance first thing in the morning and find yourself in anger just as soon as you switch on to Facebook. So I'm just going to go through and show you, some of my ideas about how people might be in these stages as a way of helping you maybe process a little bit about what's going on out there. Just again, a lens to look through to maybe make some sense out of what's going on. The first stage, or the first one, is to be in denial. I think that shows up as sort of well, this is just a hoax. This isn't really real. Or it can't really hurt me. I think we see that, in some of the young people. Well, it just hits old people. It doesn't really hit me. It doesn't really affect me. Or just, how could this possibly be happening in this day and age when we have so much science and medicine? This thing will just magically go away. Denial of what's going on. Then you get into anger. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's all over the place. Really, really angry that I have to stay inside, really angry that I can't do what I want to do, really angry that you're asking me to wear a mask or me. And we've seen everything from, fighting over toilet paper in the stores to people, getting in shoving matches, shouting matches, and worse over things like wearing a mask. And people are in that anger stage of grief. They're handling their pain. They're trying to keep from being in pain by just focusing their anger someplace. I think all of our emotions right now are amplified by the virus. Another stage of grief is bargaining. I find myself doing this one a lot. It's sort of if I just do everything right, if I wear my mask, if I stay put, if I wash my hands several times a day, if I use hand sanitizer, if I only go out and if I go down the right way in the aisles at the grocery store, then I won't get it. And if I do everything right, then I won't get it, and no one I know will get it. I won't pass it on to anybody. I won't get it accidentally. And then it'll be over in, 30 days. I think that was my first bargaining. I can do this for 30 days. And then 30 days came and went, and then it was 60 days, and then it was 90 days, and now it's 4 months. The next stage of grief is depression. That kind of shows up as, is this the way it's always going to be? Are we always going to be on Zoom? Are we ever going to get to go into our church again and hug each other and be in each other's presence? And if we're all going to die anyway, then what's the use? And depression can really make us, just lethargic, uninterested, unmotivated, not wanting to do anything, isolating, to know the signs for you. I mean, the depression, that stage of grief, is what's causing the mental health crisis of this virus. It's very real. All of these stages are very real. And like I said, you can bounce around within one day, and you can go out into the community and see people bouncing around from one stage to another, or see all the stages when you're out. You can go on Facebook and see every single stage just displayed right there in people's Facebook feeds. The final, or the fifth stage, I'm not going to call it a final stage because I've come upon a sixth stage. The fifth stage is acceptance. And in a place of acceptance, you're in a place that says, okay, this is my reality. This is true. This hurts. This is painful, but I will be flexible. I'll adapt. I'll get through this. And that might show up. I knew I had a little bit of acceptance the time I went to the grocery store and they were completely out of chicken. And instead of going into a rage, instead of jumping into anger, I said, oh, okay, well, I'll just have something else. And I remember actually kind of being surprised, like, oh, look at me. And also when I stopped hoarding things at the grocery store. I was so afraid. I was so afraid that, all of a sudden there would be no food, that I couldn't buy fewer than 4 things. And I was just stockpiling and just like trying to take care of myself. So as time goes on, as we do our work, we can get more to a place of acceptance. And I think most mornings when I go to the cottage, when I sit with my affirmations, when I sit in prayer and meditation and get centered, that I start most days now in a place of acceptance. But then things can get me off track. There's a 6th stage of grief, and oh my, I've forgotten his name. David somebody. Okay, he worked with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in writing on death and dying, on grief and grieving, and he recently published a new book about the 6th stage of grief called Finding Meaning. And that's a tricky one. I was listening to him recently talking about how do you find meaning in something that causes you horrible grief. He lost his son in an accident, and he said, there's no way to make a meaning out of that death, but we can each create meaningful moments during this time of going through the grief process or the grief journey. We can find meaningful moments. We can reach out to other people. We can make a phone call. We've seen so many meaningful moments as people are doing incredibly generous things. The free concerts, the reaching out, the helping people. There's a lot of meaning to be found here. This morning, I was reading from this book, Learning to Fall. It is by Philip Simmons, and I often read, meditative things in the morning, and I found this morning, and I thought it fit in really well with my talk. He said, wanting human suffering to fit some divine plan is like wanting to fly an airplane above tornado wreckage and see that it spells out song lyrics or a cure for acne. I thought that was so good, that sometimes a virus is just a horrible thing that's happened. This pandemic is just a horrible thing that happened, and there isn't some great divine plan in motion to make it mean something, that it just happened, like tornadoes and hurricanes and death, unexplained death. Things happen, and there's nothing to be grateful for in the virus, in this state that we're in, but we can find meaning. We can find things in our own lives to be grateful for. And for me, just the opportunity to be in isolation, I feel a lot like I've been at a retreat, that I've been away for a couple of months with very little interaction, very little to distract me. I have hours and hours that I can dig in and work on my stuff. This morning, I was thinking about how unmotivated I've been feeling the last couple of days, how I really haven't had any energy, and it's all I can do to drag myself through the day. And so I started to journal, and I thought, what is this? What is this lack of energy? And what is this numbing behavior that I've been doing, which is sleeping more, maybe 2 glasses of wine instead of 1, just to take the edge off. Does that sound familiar? Like maybe I'll binge watch something so I just don't have to think this afternoon, or I'll take an extra long nap today, get online and just read and read and read and not deal with stuff. And so I was looking at it, and I really recognized my own my own numbing behavior. And I thought, well, what is it? What's the pain? I thought I worked through all my stuff. I've been doing this for months now. What is it? And then I realized, my son and daughter-in-law and grandson were here for 5 days, and they left about 10 days ago. And as soon as they left, as they drove out the driveway, I was in tears. And then I went about cleaning up my house because they'd been in my house for 5 days and it was a mess. And so I worked really, really hard at getting everything cleaned up. And then I sort of turned to I've got my life back. I've got my house back and everything's fine. And I never finished the grieving process of them leaving. And I kind of stepped back this morning and observed, oh, and I think what I felt like was I had like a 50-pound rock inside me that was holding me down. I could feel it. I could feel the pain of it. I could feel how much energy it took just to get through the day, and that rock inside me was just the pain of they're not here. And they went back to Montana, and I don't know when I'm going to see them again. And so I sat and I wrote for a while, and I cried for a while, and I just felt it. And there's a difference between feeling pain and then going into a horrible place of suffering. The horrible place of suffering is where you start to make up stories. And you make up things like, I may never see them again, and oh, why this and why that, and oh, I wish I had, and just kind of like amplifying the pain and making it something that it's not. So I didn't do that, but I sat with the reality, just the reality of how fast time goes, how my grandson is now 10 days older than he was, and he's not quite the same, that they changed so fast. And I cried, and I felt the pain of that. And then I prayed and I affirmed, and I felt so much better. I went to a place of gratitude and joy and so grateful that they were here. But I also felt like that rock was gone. And I'm feeling a lot more energetic than I did yesterday and the day before. So I wanted to share one more thing before I close, and that is, like, what can we do? How is it that we can get through all of this, to get our minds in the right place, to think about the right things? Because we can get really caught up in the stages of grief and not processing things. And so I want to, as members of Unity, as people who come here on Sunday morning, that we have our faith. What is it that you believe in? What is it that gets you through these times? What do you tell yourself about this? And I turn really often to, Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady. And I want to read the one that I've been reading a lot here recently, because it fits in so well with the pandemic. And that is, I am spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious. Nothing can hurt me or make me sick or afraid, for spirit is God, and God cannot be sick or hurt or afraid. I manifest my real self through this body. So there's that. There's the real self, the spirit self, and then there's the way spirit manifests in this body. And we all know that this body can get sick. It can be afraid. But we can look at things through our divine self. We can make choices through that divine part of ourselves, or we can stay stuck in our humanity, our frailty, our that place where we're so vulnerable to everything. But we have tools, we have things. Anybody who's a member of Unity has received this book. So, start looking on your bookshelves and see if you can find it. And just open it up to a page and find something you can resonate with. The problem is, like, I can't read this book cover to cover and resonate with everything that's in it. Sometimes I read things and I say, I just can't go there. You may not know this morning what it is you believe, and I'm not going to tell you what to believe, because that's between you and your heart, between you and how you want to feel. Sometimes we have to start with, what do I want to believe? Not what do I believe, but what do I want to believe? We can see what we believe by just looking at our behavior, because our behavior is a reflection of our beliefs. So if you're running around scared and angry and lashing out and thinking that the world is falling apart, then you may not believe that wherever I am, God is and all is well. You may say it, you may want to believe it, but your behavior might not be reflecting that. So if it's what you want to believe, then sit with it. Sit with it and try it on and think, if I really did believe this, how would my behavior change? You can back yourself into your beliefs that way. You can say, if I believe I am spirit manifest in this body, then how would I act? How would I go through my day? How would I be thinking? And so to try on some of these beliefs for just a day, just one day. You don't have to take it for the rest of your life. You don't have to be saved and and say, okay, from now on, this is it. But just one day, say to yourself, wherever I am, God is, and all is well. That I am spirit, perfect, holy, and harmonious. There's no way my human self is going to say those words. I would not stand in front of you and say, hey, here I am, perfect, holy, and harmonious. And yet, there is a part of me that is exactly that. And that's why I'm here this morning to talk to you, because that's the part that has something to say. So, in closing, I want to read another piece of this that is so powerful. This is kind of long, so see if you can stick with me here. This is about memorizing some of these things, like memorizing the prayer for protection, or memorizing there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, and it's not the virus, it's God, the good, omnipotent. There's a reason to memorize. Commit these affirmations to memory so that you can repeat them in the silence of your own mind, in any place and at any time. Strangely, they will act to deliver you out of the greatest external distresses, places where no human help avails. It is as though the moment you assert emphatically your oneness with God, there is instantly set into motion all the power of omnipotent love to rush to your rescue. We are doing the best we can. Remind yourself of what you believe. And right now, I just want you to thank yourselves for showing up, for being who you are in the world. Thank you for listening, for being here for me, and for holding hands and helping us through. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbie, for that uplifting, inspiring message. At this time, we do ask you to support our ministry. The board is very grateful that everyone has been stepping up to the plate and helping this ministry to continue. You can support us by sending a check to the church, or if you go online, you'll see donate now or buy now buttons. You can support us that way as well. But for now, please state with me our offering blessing. Together, divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love. I trust God, and I am grateful. And now Ron has another song for us.
Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of love fills the air, guiding my journey home. Where is the path beyond the forest? Where is the song I always knew? I remember it just around the bend. In the village, the music never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend. When we touch common ground, in a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend. When we touch common ground. Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of love fills the air, guiding my journey home. Here is the path beyond the forest. Here is the song I always knew. I remember it just around the bend.
thank you, Ron, Ryan, and Jeff, for that great, great music. So at this time, we give thanks for the gifts and offerings that support our ministry. We give thanks for this family that comes together and supports one another. We are grateful for messages that reach our hearts and still our fears and allow us to live our life in gratefulness and love. So we say thank you for the electronic means to all be together. And we say thank you that our ministry continues, and thank you that all is well. And so it is. Amen. So I'm going to go to the gallery view here. And if anybody has a birthday, wave to me or give me a thumbs up or something. I've got a few here. Okay, I'm not seeing any extras, but we are going to sing happy birthday to Jenna Walker, who turned 12, and to Danny Walker's daughter, Nicole, and to Rich and Karen's grandsons, Parker and Grady. So let's sing happy birthday. And now we'll sing our peace song.
Peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment. I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And now together, our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. Much love to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful message, Barbie.
Bye-bye. Oh, thank you, Peggy.
Wonderful.
So good to
Love
see everybody.
Thank you so much, Barbie. That was so helpful.
It was
Oh,
good.
Thank you, Barbie. It's wonderful.
It was a
Thank
great message.
So much, Barbie.
Yeah, if anybody feels like talking anymore, let me know. I'm up for conversations anytime.
I don't know. We all have so much to do.
I know, right?
Oh, goodness.
Hi, Jan.
Barbie. Hi there, Ruby. How are you?
I'm good.
I can't wait to talk to you. We'll have to chat this week. Barbie, I have a question for you. I'm Jan. I'm from New York. When
Yes.
you mentioned Lake George, I thought, oh my goodness, how I wish I could run up there and meet you. 'Cause I'm about 45 minutes from Lake George, maybe an hour.
Okay. Well, do you know the Weowaka Center for Women?
I have never been there, but I have some very good friends who know it well.
That was
That's
where I was
one-
supposed to do the
Oh,
retreat.
yes. Oh my goodness.
And my colleague is doing some workshops there this weekend.
Can I ask what her name is?
Kate Labarre, Labarre.
Okay,
If you go to the Weowaka website,
I will do that.
her name is up there, and she is doing a retreat in
Okay.
August.